feels amazing to be nominated, I have to say. Last time I was on stage was 12 years ago, and last time I was nominated was 12 years ago for Best Supporting, I think. So I've got a pretty good hit rate at the moment, albeit with 12 years in between. Phoebe's nominated too, quite rightly, I think, because she's amazing, and I feel very good about that because I know that she'll be there. We'll be going through the same thing. Evo, the director, has also been nominated. In fact, the show has done very well for nominations, and it's lovely the thought that we're all going to be there and we'll be able to kind of share in the success of it. It hasn't affected the production, but everybody's mood is much better knowing that we've been recognised in that way, and I think it's just something extra. It just gives a little extra kind of fizz to the show, knowing that we're in the running for some awards. I think the best award ceremony speech, and I won't tell you who did it, was somebody who got up there and said pretty much how I feel about awards, which is that I love the nomination stage. I wish it could kind of end there, because that's the bit where your work's been recognised. The final decision can often be political. Somebody's got one here, so we're not going to give one there, or they got one last year, so they can't have it, or there's all sorts of reasons. And juries, they're a closed shop, so they make up their own mind about those things. But he said something along the lines of, I've always found it very difficult at award ceremonies because how do you quantify art? How do you quantify a creative performance? Because if you had 4 actors all doing the same performance, then you could judge, but they're all different. It's like comparing an orange with a ladder. He said, and he'd won the award as it was, but he said, now, tonight, I think I've solved the conundrum. As I've got it, I'm obviously the best. So that was how he dealt with it. Lucky enough to win the Critics' Circle Award, and I did sit there. The difficulty with that one was I knew that I'd won it, so I knew I had to get up in front of all the critics to say that I'd won it, and so I realised I had to say something erudite and interesting. And so I sat there trying to write off the cuff something, and I was just getting more and more nervous. And in the end, I literally threw it away and just went up and said how I felt, and it was much easier. So I don't know. Maybe there are certainly people that you need to thank if you're lucky enough to win. So obviously you have to remember who those people are, because in the moment, I'm sure it's very exciting and surprising. You can easily forget everyone, and then they'll be all upset the next day. So there's certain practical things you have to think about. But generally, I think you just have to let people know how you feel. The really difficult thing is if you don't win, of course, because what do you do then? You keep your speech in your pocket or in your head, but have to be secure in the realisation that you've been nominated, you've been noticed at all, which is great.